Anyways, so before I get over to this incredible playoffs, Stanley Cup finals, I want to talk about soccer for a minute. Does anybody really give a shit of all these allegations, which I believe most of them are true? It's been so long that FIFA has always been embroiled in all these controversies. Does it really affect the value of this franchise? I say not.
Well, you know what, Frank? You're probably right, but that's a shame. That's a shame. I mean, if they've been able to get away with that and not to be responsible for the money that's been dealt under the table, and if you jump into bed with Vladimir Putin, you're going to come out not smelling like a rose. And they did that in Sochi, and they're going to do it again. And I look at the Olympics and I say, if FIFA is so bad, how bad is the IOC? But that's another. Right. I think that.
But think about it. And that franchise hasn't been affected either, because the Olympics is one of the biggest franchises in the fucking world.
Know that.
It's not the biggest.
And that's too bad, because if they're not the biggest, FIFA is. But Frank,
I think it's allow them. Two of them. There's huge emotion, and when you have huge emotion, people tend to forgive all the bullshit. Well, rationalize, right? Like, I mean, the scandal that's going on right now with FIFA, I've been following this story for the last 2 weeks. Well, last 2 weeks. It's been going on since the beginning of FIFA.
Yeah, well,
that ref got a brand new car, and that guy got this, and they got that. All these things that have gone on. But still, the biggest event in the World Cup is huge. The European Cup is huge.
It might be for you, Frank. It ain't for the rest of us. We're sick.
It's not big for me. It's huge for the world. The viewership is crazy. The sponsorship money that it brings in is unfucking believable.
Well, I agree, and that's the size of the game. But if you've got any credibility at all, you can't watch a bunch of cheaters organize a tournament.
Well, it's like horse racing or boxing that had all these. They had so much allegations of misconduct and cheating and fixing, and it really hurt the sport. It hurt the sport of highlight in the United States, especially in Florida, eh, Phil?
Yeah, the highlight is just about done over here.
Yeah, but it was huge before.
Yes, it was.
Anything you can bet on.
Racing.
That's why
and all the allegations of cheating and fighting and all that shit. It killed the sport. But it seems not to affect the Olympics or FIFA.
Well, you know what, Frank? It reminds me of the steroid blow-up. I don't know if they're still on steroids, but they're having a harder time staying on them. And FIFA is finished as someone who is going to cook the results of where the World Cup's going to be. Qatar, 125 degrees will be the temperature when they're playing the World Cup. Did you not?
They're going to fucking play soccer if the ball melts.
Yeah, I don't know.
Think about what they did in Brazil. I mean, they built a $480 million stadium just to play in the world, and now they don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
How much graft was there?
Oh, no, and the problem is everybody knew about it, only certain people wrote about it. And that's why he was owed.
Go ahead.
And he had people who didn't want to squeal on him because he knew he'd turn them in. I mean, it was a vicious circle.
Well, there's three really major events in the world, in my view. There's the Olympics, World Cup. I'm talking worldwide, right? Where it encompasses the whole world. The NHL is great, but it encompasses basically North America, even though there's players from all over the world. The third one, which is Grand Prix F1 racing, where in Shanghai they build a track. There's people starving and there's people working 24 hours a day in sweatshops, and they built one of the most luxurious, incredible racetracks in the world. I'd say better than Monza, better than San Marino.
Well, and they built one in Sochi too, Frank. All the corrupt countries.
But I'm just saying that these events, the countries want the events because It brings hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in tourism revenue, right?
Yep.
And it's a great way to promote your country or the city that you want to promote in that country. And you know what? It's very bad for soccer fans to have to be dragged through the mud with all these guys who are in power and abusing their power. And I think FIFA, what they first should do if they're going to bring any credibility, is the body should be elected every 2 years by people who keep an eye on them, and then you need people who keep an eye on the corruption is just so deep in those organizations because it's powerful. There's a lot of power there.
But it's always been there.
They can't be allowed to control themselves. They have to have someone above and beyond it. And
well, the government should make them accountable. The government should make them accountable.
Well,
just like they make a business accountable, just like they make a taxpayer accountable, I think the government should make them accountable.